Welcome to InfoSource, a presentation of Berkshire Healthcare Systems, a not-for-profit system of post-acute healthcare services, including long-term care, short-term rehabilitation, independent living, assisted living, memory care programs, and hospice services available to our neighbors and families here in the Berkshires and beyond. I'm your host, Rachel Colasino, and my guests for today's show are Margaret Keller, Executive Director of Community Access to the Arts, Bobby Ficini, Program Coordinator from Community Access to the Arts, and Dolores Timo, Administrator at Hillcrest Commons Nursing and Rehabilitation Center here in Pittsfield. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. So I'm excited to talk about our show today, which is a very special organization here in Berkshire County, Community Access to the Arts, and the partnerships that you have with our affiliates, especially Hillcrest Commons. So Community Access to the Arts, you connect artists with different community groups to provide art therapy and healing through the arts. So Margaret, you're the executive director, so I want to start with you. Can you tell us more about your organization?
Sure. We're a nonprofit organization. Our offices are in Great Barrington, but we serve all of Berkshire County. Our mission is to nurture and celebrate the creativity of people with disabilities. And there's really two strong components to that work. The first is that we bring the arts to people with disabilities. We have 22 faculty artists who go into day programs, residences, schools, elder care facilities to provide workshops in every genre of the arts, dance, tap, theater, improv, painting, drawing, sculpture, yoga, drumming, juggling, the list goes on and on. And they teach workshops in these settings and also in our studio space in Great Barrington. We serve 600 people with disabilities throughout Berkshire County, from Sheffield all the way up to North Adams and everywhere in between, and we offer about 1,000 workshops annually. I'm using that phrase, people with disabilities, but in fact, although that's a core piece of CATA's programming, there's a great breadth to the community that we serve. And in addition to people with disabilities, we also in schools serve at-risk students, students with social and emotional challenges or learning difficulties, and in the elder care facilities and nursing homes where we serve people who are there for short-term rehab as well. So that breadth is really an integral piece of CATA's work. We very much exist to honor and respect the creativity that resides in all of us. And we want to shine a light on the artistry that exists in a wide community of people and give people the opportunity to share their voice, their perspective, and their story. So the other piece of all of that work is that in addition to bringing the arts to this wide community, we bring all of that wonderful artistry and creativity into the public view. We have an annual showcase that's at Shakespeare and Company every year in May that over the course of our performance weekend exposes about 700 people in the community to our work. We have 50 artists with disabilities who perform in all of those genres that I mentioned for this very public audience. We also have an annual art show at the Berkshire Museum that features over 100 works of visual arts, and it hangs for a month at Berkshire Museum. And we have smaller exhibitions that travel all over the Berkshires to cultural centers and libraries and the like. About a month and a half ago, we had a show at the Clark Art Institute, which was very exciting for us. But getting that work out into the public and sharing the creativity and the artistry of our community with a broad public is really a strong piece of who we are as well.
Great, that's why you speak so passionately about it too. Thank you. So Dolores, CATA works with many organizations, as we just heard, here in Berkshire County, but one of them is Hillcrest Commons. So can you let us know what it looks like at Hillcrest?
Sure. First of all, I just want to say thank you to CATA because I think you guys do an amazing job, and we're very fortunate. Hillcrest has been very fortunate to have them for 14 years attending our facility, and they come every other week, and Joanne Spies she's a singer and songwriter, and she performs music and and art to help our long-term care residents, as well as our short-term rehabilitation population, to promote healing and a sense of normalcy in what could be a time of difficulty dealing with an illness that they're not accustomed to. So for our short-term rehab, the power of music and arts on a recovering patient really provides a refuge from an intense emotional situation dealing with dealing with an illness. So I think that's for our short-term population. I think that's what Joanne does. For our long-term residents, she really provides and enhances the quality of life because she provides one-to-one visits. So the residents have a normal activity program throughout the day. However, when Joanne is there, she can really enhance the quality of life for our long-term care residents by providing that one-on-one attention that they need. So I think Joanne, when she comes in, she collaborates with our activities department. She identifies residents who may need that little extra attention that day, and she goes in and she creates her list of who she's going to see for that day, and she provides that time. There's a art cart that kind of goes around, room to room. So she goes room to room visiting people, and I don't know if I said 10 to 15 minutes she spends with each resident, and she takes an art cart. And I actually brought along a couple of just things that were in the art cart, so you can actually see those. So obviously this is a Norman Rockwell, and then just a picture also. And so what she does with the art cart is the residents are able to pick from the art cart and actually put that in their room. So again, something that means something to that resident, whether it's a Norman Rockwell and that's something that they're accustomed to. So she, by providing that piece of art, it gives them a little bit of sense of comfort of being home. So that's for the art card. I think that's like a really awesome thing. She also, during her time, because she's spending that one-on-one quality time with the residents, she's able to really glean some information from our residents about something that may, help with providing care, so that we can actually create a more individualized plan of care for that resident by gleaning some information as to what's happening with them. She also provides this is just an example. A resident may really prefer Frank Sinatra music, say, for example. And so she will glean that information, then share it with the nursing department, and then nursing will actually make that part of the plan of care. So maybe they're doing a treatment that may require a little bit of extra attention, and the resident's kind of tired and they don't really want to participate because they're exhausted from doing all the rehab that they do. And so by providing Frank Sinatra music, that may get them going a little bit more and just give them that little extra boost that they need to really shine and be able to have a good quality of rehab while they're at our facility. So. Yeah,
and that's a great collaboration too, because maybe that piece of information, the resident liking Frank Sinatra might have not been something that a nurse would know, and so being able to incorporate that is, I'm assuming, very powerful.
Absolutely, it's been very, very helpful for our nursing staff, and it really allows the nurses to really develop a person-centered care to really kind of get the uniqueness of that resident out.
Great, which I'm assuming would also promote healing.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, Margaret, I heard Dolores mention the Art Cart program. So, can you tell us more about that?
Yeah. And as Dolores said, we've been with Berkshire Healthcare for 14 years, and we're in all 6 of the Berkshire Healthcare residences here in Berkshire County.
Great,
so that's
thank you.
It's a partnership that we're really thrilled to have, that really adds a lot to what we're able to do here in Berkshire County. The Art Card is a really interesting program, and it's led, as Dolores indicated, by Joanne Spies, one of our 22 faculty artists. Joanne's work in the settings can take a number of different forms, and over the years that's altered depending upon the particular setting and the particular group of residents that she's working with. There are times that Joanne will lead a class where all of the residents gather together in one room, and it's a group class, and there's a workshop, and it's an opportunity for everybody to come together to sing songs or to share stories or to hear a poem read and to respond to that. So sometimes there is the opportunity for people to gather together in a community. And at other times, the model really is that traveling from room to room and bed to bed, where Joanne is really able to engage in a very intimate and personal way with the different residents that she visits, and an opportunity to share something with them that they might otherwise not be able to have access to. So it's going to their bedside and gauging a little bit what might they be in the mood for that day, what might really help spark their day, what might give them a different perspective on the challenges in front of them. So I've seen that unfold in a number of different ways. Sometimes Joanne has a guitar, and she is playing songs. Sometimes she has this wonderful drum that is actually a repurposed propane tank, if you can believe it. And normally when we think of a drum, we think of something that's very rhythmic. This is very tonal and has a very musical quality, where she, depending upon where you hit it, you have different notes, and she'll play a song, or sometimes she'll talk with a resident and they'll share a story, and out of the story that resident has shared, she creates a song in the moment through the drum or through the guitar, using their words, and it's very, very powerful work. And then there's the visual art dimension, where the wonderful art cart, I think the art carts were actually fashioned and built 14 years ago, so many of them have been with us for years, but they're full of art. And so there's an opportunity for Joanne or for whoever is traveling with her that day. Sometimes one of our artists with disabilities will travel with her as well, which adds a whole other dimension and layer to the work. We'll pull out some of the art and invite the resident to choose something and to put it on their wall. So it's really an opportunity for her to engage in, and for Kata to engage in a very personal and one-on-one way with the residents.
Great, thank you, Margaret. And Bobby, we had a great conversation about how there are strong images that just provoke really strong feelings in people. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. The Norman Rockwell Museum has been so generous and so helpful with Kata throughout the years, donating a lot of these prints to us. So this is a Norman Rockwell painting from 1926 called Puppy Love. And when we bring an image like this in front of, some of these more elderly residents at Berkshire healthcare settings, it strikes up so many memories, maybe memories of themselves at this age, memories of their grandchildren, memories of movies they've watched or scenes they've witnessed out in real life. And so especially when we're dealing with memory problems, this can really be very helpful. So, Joanne can go through one of these paintings and she can look at various pieces and get these people to open up, to tell their own stories, even just to reflect on the stories that are here in this picture. So we see, this young romance under the sunset, this little puppy here, symbolizing fidelity. Rockwell is such an incredible storyteller that it really is a wonderful jumping off point
a lot
for
of nostalgia
Joanne.
there.
A lot of nostalgia for sure. And just something that we can connect to, something you can hold on to. So thank you, Norman Rockwell Museum. That and all of the prints that they give us, for sure.
So Bobby, in your experience, what does Kata provide to the community here?
Such an interesting question, because to us, the artists that we serve, the people with disabilities, the people in the Berkshire healthcare settings, the students at school, they are a part of the community. It's not such a separation for us. And so there's this creative expression that's feeding them and helping them to get through whatever they get through, or even just to find their own voice. And then we're able to share that, as Margaret said earlier, with the public. We're able to put a face on that and just connect, I think is a word that says Kata to me.
That's great.
Just these connections between the art that's being made, the people who are witnessing the art at museums, at Shakespeare and Company, wherever the art is being displayed.
Powerful connections.
Very much.
Great, thank you, ladies. So we're going to take a short break. We're going to hear a little bit more about Hillcrest Commons, and then we'll be back.
Nestled between the woods of beautiful Burbank Park and the banks of picturesque Onoda Lake, in the heart of the Berkshires in western Massachusetts, Hillcrest Commons is just minutes from downtown Pittsfield, in the heart of the culturally rich Berkshire County. Hillcrest Commons Nursing and Rehabilitation Center offers you the best of both worlds. It's a locally run facility, staffed by dedicated healthcare professionals from the central Berkshire area. And it's backed by the expertise and resources of Berkshire Healthcare, the largest nonprofit long-term care provider in the area. Berkshire Healthcare is committed to fulfilling the health and residential needs of the people in the communities we serve. Hillcrest Commons is a proud recipient of the American Healthcare Association's National Quality Award. The Quality Awards recognize members' commitment to performance excellence by continuously demonstrating ever-improving value to residents and other customers. The Bronze, Silver, and Gold Awards recognize overall organizational effectiveness and capabilities and champion organizational and personal learning. At Hillcrest Commons, we pride ourselves on our deep commitment to our community. We offer a broad range of nursing home services, including short-term rehabilitation, skilled nursing, long-term care, hospice, and respite care services. In addition, we also offer more specialized services, including a fully dedicated Alzheimer's unit, a geri-psych behavioral unit, pulmonary and ventilator-dependent care and therapy, and a full bariatric weight loss program. We proudly offer an elegant, home-like setting that allows our residents the comforts they expect while providing the care they need, including fine dining in our graciously appointed dining room, beautiful outdoor space, ample activities, and private family space. At the heart of it all is a focus on the body, mind, and spirit. Our rehab services include physical, occupational, and speech therapy. Our licensed therapy professionals help restore and maintain the body by focusing on helping our residents improve strength and mobility in order to participate in the activities they most enjoy. These services are provided up to 7 days a week when ordered by a physician. Hillcrest Commons is more than a place to live. It's a place to enjoy each day to the fullest. Our activities program focuses on the mind and spirit of our residents by offering engaging leisure and recreational activities, arts and crafts, music, discussion groups, exercise sessions, religious services, and cultural community outings and more. Each resident and patient at Hillcrest Commons receives the highest quality care delivered by our dedicated staff members working as a team. From the nursing staff to our front office personnel, everyone is enthusiastic about the role he or she plays in the lives of the people who entrust us with their care. Our staff is committed to providing compassionate care, using teamwork as their guiding principle. We're dedicated to treating each person with dignity, recognizing their individual needs, goals, and preferences. We create a care plan for each person, focused on helping them achieve the highest level of independence and quality of life. At Hillcrest Commons Nursing and Rehabilitation Center, we're perfecting the art of superior care. If you or a loved one need short-term rehab, extra care after a hospital stay, or a nursing-supervised full-time living arrangement, we invite you to tour and meet our staff. See firsthand how we enhance the lives of those we serve. To make arrangements or get more information, call 413-445-2300. We look forward to meeting you.
Welcome back. So before the break, we were talking about community access to the arts and especially CATA working with Hillcrest Commons. And I want to talk about the gala performance that was held in May, Margaret. So can you tell us about that?
Yes. As I described earlier, our gala performance and really our performance weekend, we have both a gala and then a matinee the next day, is a showcase of all of the work that we do in the community. We serve 600 people, but 50 of our artists are part of performing arts troupes that participate in this performance weekend in all of the genres that I mentioned earlier. But for me, one of the always very moving pieces of this showcase is the piece that reflects our partnership with Berkshire Healthcare Systems. And because the people that we work with in these settings are generally not able to physically come to the showcase and participate, Joanne Spies, our faculty artist, has devised this very clever and moving and original way of weaving in their voices and their experiences. And every year it's different. The showcase is different every year. It's always original works that have been created in collaboration between our faculty artists and our CATA artists and participants. And Joanne's piece, it's always exciting to see what she unveils each year. This year it was a really lovely and moving and almost even haunting piece where Joanne incorporated the drum that I described earlier that was created, refashioned from propane tank, and voices of residents that she had worked with in different Berkshire healthcare settings through these bedside visits that I described. And it was a number of different participants, I would say probably 5 or 6 different participants who told stories, who sang, who shared something of their own personal history. There was a really lovely moment where a woman talked about how she used to love to walk on the beach, and she would fill her pockets with all the seashells that she could, and then when her pockets would be too full, she would take off her shoes and she would fill all of her shoes with seashells, knowing that that would mean that she would have to walk on the hot, sticky tar to the car, but that it was worth it to have all of these shells. And it was a memory, but it was poetry, every word of it. And there was another moment where there was a woman who talked about making jam with her mother in the kitchen. And she was telling a story that led to a song that was part memory and part invention. It was this beautiful song, and she had a lovely voice. And there were all of these different moments that, in between which Joanne would play the drum. And it was this lovely way of incorporating voices and stories and memories from participants and really just shining a light on what they have to bring to the community, bringing them to the community. 700 people heard those songs and stories and voices over the course of the weekend, and I can't tell you how many people after the performance told me how moving that moment was for them. These voices just filled the theater space. Absolutely. And they were not physically present, but they were present in every way that one could be present.
Dolores, I'm watching you as Margaret is talking, and you're getting a little teary. You were there. Yeah. What was it like?
I actually had never attended this event before, and what Margaret is talking about actually did bring me to tears. It was very moving. I'm actually getting goosebumps right now. It was very moving to hear our residents, really about them making a difference and making a connection. And it was a very moving, I'm actually...
It's okay.
So I have a few other things to say about the event because it was really amazing. It was just inspiring. There was that one person there that was treated like they had a disability. For me, I once heard Scott Hamilton say, the only disability in life is a bad attitude. There was no bad attitudes on this day. From the guy who came out, spelling out the kata, and Sam who came out, he danced to Michael Jackson. He really kind of got everybody moving and was like the life of the party. He started it. And to Scott ending it with stand-up comic, the performers were so amazing, and the staff were so amazing with the performers. I did not once think about the disability that any of them had. It was. I will definitely go back next year. It was very, very moving for me. So very emotional. Great job.
And quickly, Dolores, can you tell me just the story of a resident whose life has changed because of CATA?
Yeah, we actually had a resident. I had just been there for a very short time at Hillcrest, and I was doing rounds, and I came upon a room that had a set of drums, and that's very unusual. So I was kind of checking that out and tried to figure out what was going on with that. And come to find out, it was that we had a resident who was there for short-term rehab, who had Asperger's syndrome. And so it was a very difficult time for him to be away from home and out of his normal environment. And so Joanne actually worked with this individual and set up a drum set for him because that was something that was very normal for him. He now has returned home and did a great job. So he definitely had a great stay with us to be able to, create something, take something that was a very abnormal situation for him and make it normal. So I think that was one of the events and one of the things that CATA has really made a huge hit with our staff to really help this individual have a good quality of time while he was at our facility.
Thank you, Dolores. So Margaret and Bobby, I want to thank you again. And the way that I want to end the show is, Bobby, I'd like you to tell us about the next event on CATA's calendar.
Sure. On July 24th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Berkshire Museum here in Pittsfield will be our annual visual art show and poetry reading. So it's just a great showcase of all the visual art that has been made in our workshops throughout the year. And we'll have a guest reader reading the poetry, and it'll just be a great, great event. I hope everyone in Pittsfield comes to it at some point. The show will be up all throughout the month of August, so if you can't make the opening, come at some point to the Berkshire Museum.
And then how would people find out more information? Visit your website?
Communityaccesstothearts.org.
Great. Margaret, Bobby, thank you both again. Dolores, thank you for being here. And this has been InfoSource, a presentation of Berkshire Healthcare Systems.